to Kobe's Reviews. You suggest I review it, and welcome back to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise review. Today we are unfortunately continuing this franchise review by taking a look at the sixth film, and thankfully the last one, until the next one, but we'll get to that later. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare.
As a boy, he was always different. No one understood him.
You ready for it, boy? It's time to take your medicine. Thank you, sir.
No one could control him.
Go inside, honey.
But now, it's a new beginning. The beginning of the end for Freddy. Every town has an Elm Street. Screaming while the bus is in motion. It's your mind to go for. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too.
We're gonna have to hit him with everything we've got.
Now I'm playing with power.
We're in Twin Peaks here.
It's gotta be me and him.
You want to live? Maggie, what's up? What's with kids today, huh? Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Great graphics. They saved the best for last.
Spoiler alert, no they didn't. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare came out in 1991, and for the time it was the last Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Until Wes Craven's New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason, and then there's the remake, but we'll get to that some other time. Point is, for a while this was the last Nightmare on Elm Street film, and, well, let's talk about it. This movie, this time, starts off with probably one of the strangest openings, revealing that Freddy had fucking mutilated the entire population of teens and children in Springwood. Except for one, a nameless boy who goes by the name of John Doe, who gets taken out of Springwood, ends up in a mental ward, where he meets a bunch of other people, the person running the place, Dr. Maggie, a girl named Sarah, who fights and has anger issues, a deaf boy named Carlos, and a stoner/gamer named Spencer. John meets Maggie, and they decide the best thing to do is go to Springwood, since he may have more about his past. They go there, but the other teens hitch a ride on the van, and they decide to bring them along. While Maggie and John are out looking for clues about his past, Spencer, Carlos, and Sarah break into the Elm Street house, and of course, one by one, each of them start getting killed. Of course, we still have Robert Englund playing Freddy. We'll always have that. But at this point, Freddy had become a full-out Looney Tune. And I don't know if I mentioned this in any of my other reviews, but at this point, Freddy had become an 80s icon. Of course, we had the movies, we also had a TV show, a video game, and a huge amount of merchandise with Freddy's likeness. It was crazy. At this point, it feels like Freddy was somewhat aware he's now a popular 80s icon, and he was taking advantage of that. Freddy does nothing but spew out one-liners throughout the entire friggin' movie, and it's not funny, and they're not funny. Also, some of the kills are just embarrassing. Much like the last movie, there's only 3 kills done by Freddy. Yes, there's a bunch of other flashback kills, but really, who's gonna count those? The point is, yeah, and all the kills are stupid. For example, Carlos, who has a hearing problem, falls asleep and has a run with Freddy, who shoves a giant cotton swab through his head, and, when you take the fact that cranial impalement should have killed the kid, Carlos ain't doing too bad. but he lost his hearing aid, so Freddy starts jumping around and screaming like an asshole. Then he gives Carlos a hearing aid, which clamps down to his ears, grows legs, and now it's connected to his head, which means the littlest sounds hurt him. A water droplet is like a beating drum, a falling needle is like an atom bomb, a huge thump sounds like a bunch of glass shattering, and then Freddy pulls out a chalkboard, scrapes his claws on it, which, that sounds normal, and Carlos' head explodes. And then there's a really, really weird scene where Spencer, after smoking a joint, falls asleep in front of the TV. Weird, because being high prevents REM sleep, but, who cares? And he sees Johnny Depp on the TV giving a drug PSA. Okay, so it looks like Glenn's not doing too bad in the afterlife. Then Freddy shows up, hits him in the head with a frying pan, and for some reason makes Spence trip out. Kruger, the kid did smoke a joint. He didn't drop acid. Then Spencer ends up in a video game where he's being controlled by Freddy. Yeah, Freddy Krueger playing a video game. That's just sad. Then Johnny gets knocked into the dream. Sarah sorely follows after. They pull out the controller. You think, alright, well, that's done with. Then Freddy pulls out a power glove. Yeah, Freddy Krueger actually has a gloved version of a power glove. Well, if you ask me, Spencer's intransigence strength just increased. But then you forget, in the movies, the power glove actually works. They always have that special power glove that somehow works. Then I should mention that Freddy knocks Spencer into the real world, but is still controlling it with a bunch of goofy sound effects. Now, this is the lowest point in the series. But anyway, in the game, Spencer falls into a pit and dies, where in the real world he falls into a pit of the floor, which leads to the underworld. But I think the dumbest kill is John's. John falls asleep and then starts falling through the sky. Then he turns his shirt into a parachute. Freddy cuts the strings, and then John falls. And you think him falling on the ground kills him, but then Freddy pushes out a bed of spikes. What are you, Wile E. Coyote now, Freddy? And then anyway, John then falls on the spikes and dies from blood loss. And I forgot to mention that there's a sort of a story that Freddy apparently had a child in the movie, and at first John thought it was him, but then Freddy explains he had a daughter, so there was no need for John. After all that mess, and also another thing is that Freddy is not funny. He's just dumb. He's just being annoying for the sake of being annoying. Well. Shit, I guess there's not really much to say, except one more thing. Maggie uses a set of 3D glasses to enter Freddy's dream. Yeah, did I forget to mention this film was in 3D, but I guess they were cheap, because only the last few minutes are in 3D. Why would you make the 3D glasses a plot point? Never mind. So yeah, Maggie uses the glasses to see in Freddy's dreams, and sees him as a kid when he mutilated the class hamster with a mallet. And there was a time when he was a teenager where he killed his stepfather, who for some reason looks like Alice Cooper. Then there was also that time he murdered his wife right in front of young Maggie, who's revealed to be Catherine Krueger, Freddy's daughter. You know what? Who cares? Alright, so wrapping up. Freddy gets pulled into the real world, much like the original. Maggie kicks the hell out of him, stabs him with his glove, and while it would be really poetic for Freddy to get killed with his own glove, that's not what kills him. Instead, she stabs him with a pipe bomb, and he explodes. Really? That's how they kill him off? After build-up, that's how Freddy Krueger meets his demise in this final. Fuck this movie.
Freddy's dead.
Yeah, until the producers need more drug money. If they wanted to end the Nightmare on Elm Street series while making Freddy look like a joke, they really succeeded. And how? Seriously, when you make a movie that's not just going to kill off your character, you want fans to be asking for more, not just want it to end. Point is, Freddy's dead. The final Nightmare was a huge disappointment, and there was no chance Freddy was going to make it back after this. Well, technically he kind of did with the next movie, which, believe it or not, is actually a lot better than this shitfest. But we'll take a look at that next time. I'm Cody the Reviewer, and remember, now I'm playing with power.